These BMWs, man, I tell you, unreliable. Always something going on. All right, just kidding. Here, all it is just routine maintenance. Just did an oil change on the X5M. Because of that drivetrain malfunction, I smelled some fuel inside the oil. I wonder if it was something that was going to safe mode. Anyway, I decided to go and change it, a little bit early. And I decided to send the oil off to Blackstone for analysis, of course. But yeah, it didn't smell good. Had a lot of fuel smell, and obviously, a fuel dilution that leads to other things like obviously the oil is it breaks that oil down faster. So went ahead and swapped that out. Went back to the liquid moly, the high tech, the 5W40 that I've been using, and for the M3. Actually, as soon as I'm done with this, I'm gonna get started with M3. It's going to be spark plugs. But reason why I wanted to talk is towing, hauling. Do you need a truck? Is a truck necessary? And I was thinking about a few things. I was looking at some trucks. I was like, I never had a truck. I've had sports cars, two-door coupes. I've had economy cars. I've had sports sedans. Luxury sports sedans. I've had, I've had everything. I had SUVs, sport SUVs, but I never had a truck. And I thought, it'd be cool to have a truck, at least before, like a good old like V8, All American or something like that. So looking at the Silverado 1500, and mind you, this is going to replace the X5M. So looking at the Silverado, looking at the Black Widow edition, I think it's a third party from SCCA, has the lift wheels, but still like not additional for the power. It's the 6.2 liter V8. Then I looked at the TRX, out of my price range, it was quickly scrapped. And then I started thinking to myself, why am other than just the novelty of having a truck, why do I need a truck? Because, I do towing, and people tell me on the forums, I got into it with some people on the Grand Design forums because I was looking at the Grand Design trailer and I rented one. I posted a picture of the X5M towing a Grand Design, the 2400 BH. If you saw the video, I could put it up here. But I towed that to Pismo Beach. It was about 5 hours away from me. And X5 did fine. Now, before we get started, before everything else, I know that some people are going to watch and say, oh, you should get a truck before you can do some heavy weight like that, And I do get it. I do get it. But I'm not towing across the country. Not towing every weekend. It's occasional, once, twice a year, tow this car to the track. And if you look at it, that's something where you need a 3/4 ton truck. Those trucks are designed for they're designed for all that hauling, the off-roading. You got the, what do you call it? Was it heavy duty alternators, heavy duty radiators, got the transmission, usually they have the Allison transmissions in them. The suspension is really beefed up. Those trucks usually ride a little bit rougher when you're just going your normal day-to-day grocery shopping, but when you put a trailer on them, they tend to ride a little bit better. Now, for me, 90% of the time, 80% of the time where I'm driving this or driving a truck, I won't be hauling anything. So it doesn't make sense to have that. And then it doesn't make sense to have a 3/4 ton truck, or sorry, a half ton truck. Because you can say, well, you get a half ton truck. Half ton truck can do, hold on. The towing capacity of this X5M is 7,700 pounds. Okay. So you're looking at those trucks. And those trucks, they advertise their weight limit. They're saying, hey, we can tow 10,000 pounds, 15,000 pounds. Okay. Oh, wow. That's a lot better than the X5. But then you start adding in the high trim because you obviously, coming from BMW, I want some luxury stuff. So if I want the Denali LTZ, or if I want the platinum edition of Forge or something like that, that's weight. That deducts from your tow rating. Then you add 4-wheel drive. I mean, it's no, for me, I got to have a four-wheel drive because there's no other, if I'm going to have a truck, I want four-wheel drive. So add four-wheel drive. Well, I got a family, so I can't use a regular cab. I have a bigger cab, so add in the bigger cab. Now, add in the factor in the cab, your rating, it's not going to be that 15,000 pounds you may see. It's going to be, you're looking at closer to about, depending on the engine you choose, it can be anywhere from 7,000 to 9,000 pounds. Then think about trucks. Trucks have no weight in the back, no weight in the rear. It's just an empty bed. So then it gets complicated when you're towing anything, because the whole weight distribution really matters more on a truck than it does on SUVs, because, the tail can wag the dog on those things more because there's no weight. Now, I get a lot of comments. I mean, it was a pretty heated argument. They had to close the whole thread down on the Grand Design forums because of me, because those guys could not fathom an X5 towing something that, and it looked completely stable. They're like, there's no way you can tow that, because our trucks, we had to get a 3/4 ton truck in order to do the same thing, because I came from a half ton and it was, it was too much. Well, I mean, I did it. And the thing is, when I did it, I didn't have now I don't recommend this, but I didn't have a weight distribution. I had a stealth hitch, so I couldn't put a weight distribution hitch on it. I couldn't put a sway control. I had to just tow it the way it was. But luckily the weight, the tongue was enough tongue weight where I didn't really necessarily need it, but it was something that I probably would prefer to have if I were to do it again. X5 was super stable. Climbing hills, I had more than the power. Now, I'm not a towing expert, but I did contact Can-Am, and I wanted to see what their take was, what they thought, because if I were going to buy a travel trailer, I was looking at two different models, and one with the longer wheelbase, and I had asked people in the Grand Design, and they quickly shut me down. They were saying, you shouldn't be looking at any one of those trailers. You should be looking at a pop-up. So, of course, I'm gonna fire back. And one person was like, well, I don't know how you even stop that thing. What do you mean how I stop it? I said, I probably stop it faster than you can stop your 3/4 ton truck and your fifth wheel. So they didn't like that either. So then someone said, well, I tow with the Navigator, and I do just as fine with that. And I feel like that's even pushing it a little bit. What's the tow rating of your Navigator? What's tow rating of X5? Well, it was just the wheelbase, and I was like, all right, here we go. What I came to my conclusions was, I don't need a truck. This X5 does everything I wanted to do. If I need to haul something in the back, I could put the seats down, haul out something. If I need something heavy, guess what? I can rent a trailer, pull a trailer. I could tow anything. I could do everything a truck can do, if not more. Unibody, body on frame, that argument, I haven't seen anything other than people hearsay, and the rumors get spread. See, the guys at Can-Am told me, they kind of mirrored, they said, the reason why BMW doesn't even recommend a weight distribution hitch, because this is something that's been dating back into the 80s. They just never have updated it. And it's something they really focus on, but it's there, but they just never do it. And obviously, here in the United States, we have a higher speed limit when we tow. As we can go up, depending on your state, you can go up 80 miles an hour while you're towing. Like Utah, for example, there's no restriction on your towing. You can tow 80 miles an hour, no problem. California, you're restricted to 55. Over in Europe, you're restricted to 55. But if you're shopping for a travel trailer, and you're thinking, should I upgrade to a truck? Should I keep my X5? Did the X5 do it? Depending on your size, I think you should do it, and I think you should contact the experts, because they even told me, they said, and it made perfect sense. They said when you're towing, the weight isn't that much of a factor, because you're pulling an object on wheels. What matters is the surface area. So when I told him trailers I was looking at, I forgot the gentleman's name. He pulled up the trailers, and he said, I'm looking at the surface area. He says, that's what you're gonna feel. The weight, you're not gonna feel, but when you pick up the speed, you're gonna feel that wind resistance. So he looks at the overall profile, the overall shape of it. And Over research, I ended up finding a gentleman also. I haven't talked to him. I don't know if he's still in the forums, but Bono. And if he has like a 35-foot travel trailer he's been pulling with this E70 diesel X5. Now, do you need a diesel? With the turbocharged engines, I would say probably not. I mean, it's good to have because diesels can get better fuel mileage. Diesels can get better fuel mileage when they're towing. But far as for power wise, these engines, especially if you get the V8s, the turbocharged V8s, they make a lot of torque and low RPM anyway. So the argument is minimal when if you have a diesel peaks at 425 pound-feet of torque at 2000 RPM or 1800 RPM, whatever it is, and this peaks out at you know, 60 something. I'm just throwing a number out there, and 2000 RPM. Then what is the benefit of the diesel, other than just having that lower power band, which then keeps that revs lower, and then obviously you get better fuel mileage. Now, coming out from Pismo, I never had an issue. I never struggled. It actually pulled strong, if not better, than most of the cars out there. I mean, I was going up a hill, and I was behind a couple of people with travel trailers, and as they struggled up the hill, I just changed lanes and picked up speed and passed them like it was nothing, and I didn't have any issues. All right, now I know what people are going to say. They're like, well, Eddie, I could look to Ford's website, and you can see where the trucks can go 10,000 pounds, and that's sure they can. But the argument that I seem to get more than anything else is, well, you're taking your lightweight SUV and you're pulling in these heavy trailers. They can't do it. They can't do it. You guys, blah, 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 blah. First of all, X5 weighs more than most of your half-ton pickup trucks anyway. So the argument is invalid. Second of all, if I had a Tahoe, those people wouldn't even say anything. And I even said that. I said, you guys, if you have a Tahoe, would you even say anything? And they said, oh no, because Tahoe's better rated. So a lot of it is just a lot of ignorance. So if you're out there and you're just trying to shop and you get talked to, if you're on the forums and those guys talking to buying a $80,000, $90,000 pickup truck that you're only use to tow once, twice a year, but you really want this SUV, reconsider it, because sometimes the knowledge isn't there. There's a strong disagreement between the X5M. I would say if you're comparing it, this is not your Honda Pilot. All right, this is not your CRV that people are assuming that what we're pulling these with. Okay, the Germans have been really strong in beef, and I'm not saying just BMW in general. I've towed with my Audi Q7, and I've had a very positive thing to say about the towing. I towed a 30-foot. No, I think it was 35 length. It was long. It was really long. I think it was like 32 feet travel trailer. It was a Shadow Cruiser. Had the super slide in it with the dinette and the couch. So it was pretty long, and the bunk beds and the queen bed up front. I think overall it's about 6,000 pounds. But yeah, no problem pulling the hills. It felt perfectly fine for me, and I wouldn't hesitate to do it again. I did have the weight distribution on that one. I did have the, what do you call it, the sway control. So that added a little bit more of a comfort level. Now, it's not saying with the X5 I had sway. I did not get any sway. I didn't get any anything like that. But the knowing that I didn't have it just made me feel like, oh, I should have something like this, just to kind of ease my mind a little bit. The misconception is you need a big truck to do anything. You need a big truck to do this. And you really don't. Unless, like I said, wear and tear on the transmission, wear and tear on the suspension components. If I was every day I had to hook up and I was full timing and I said I need to do this all day, every day, I needed a workhorse, this wouldn't be the right vehicle. If it's something that, hey, my family isn't here most of the time, but occasionally we might take a trip and want to rent a trailer or take a couple family trips with the X5, perfect vehicle for it. I want to hear everybody's thoughts on this. So leave a comment below. Tell me what your thoughts are. Tell me if I'm out of my mind, if I'm crazy. Tell me if I'm positive. I'm ready to go.